So this video is mainly to help us with the terminology and notation with vertical asymptotes. So over here I've graphed the function y equals x plus 3 over x squared minus 16 using Desmos. And I want you to notice something, that the denominator is 0 when x is 4 or negative 4. And what happens on the graph over here, so I'm going to highlight a point on Desmos on the graph here. So the x-coordinate of this point is 7.4, 6.6, and so on. So I'm going to the left, but I'm approaching the number 4, and we say I'm approaching from the right. I'm approaching 4 from the right. And as the x-coordinate gets closer and closer to 4, look what happens to the y-coordinate. So the x-coordinate's 5.1, the x-coordinate's 4.6. Look, the y-coordinate's getting larger and larger. The x-coordinate never quite gets to 4, but as I get closer to 4 from the right, the y-coordinate is skyrocketing, okay? So we write that over here in the following way, that as x goes to 4, and then we write a little plus, and that means as x approaches 4 from the right, because you're coming at 4 from values larger than 4. So as x goes to 4 from the right, or as x approaches 4 from the right, what did the y-coordinate do? Let's go back. The y-coordinate over here, the y-coordinate got larger and larger. The y-coordinate goes to infinity. All right, and then likewise, you can notice what happens as you approach 4 from the left. So if I click on the graph and the x-coordinate is 1.76, 2.4, the x-coordinate is approaching 4 from the left, 3.2. What's happening to the y-coordinate? Well, it's getting large negatively, right? X-coordinate's 3.8, y-coordinate's negative 7.6, negative 9, negative 10, and so on. So we write that as in the following way. As x approaches 4, but from values less than 4. So we say, as x approaches 4 from the left, the y-coordinate approaches what? Well, the y-coordinate's going towards negative infinity. Okay, so that's how you interpret, that's what we mean, that's how we describe that graphical behavior. Let's see if we can think about what's happening at 4. Negative 4. Well, let's highlight the graph. So here, the x-coordinate is negative 3. Well, I'm trying to click on it. Negative 3.94, negative 3.96. The x-coordinate is approaching negative 4 from the right. That is, values that are a little larger than negative 4. What's happening to the y-coordinate? Once again, the y-coordinate is getting larger and larger. It's letting me go. Up, higher and higher, okay? So we write that as, let's see, it's going to be x approaches negative 4 from the right, because we're values a little larger than negative 4, but we're approaching negative 4 from the right. The y-coordinate, again, is getting larger and larger. For some reason, it's not scrolling up. So we can write, as x approaches negative 4 from the right, y approaches infinity. But then likewise, if you come over here and you highlight the graph here, as x approaches negative 4 from the left, that is values slightly less than negative 4, like negative 4.04, negative 4.02, values slightly less than negative 4, the y-coordinate, as you can see, is going negative 11, negative 12, negative 13. The y-coordinate is going to negative infinity. So we write, as x approaches negative 4 from the left, from values slightly less than negative 4, y approaches negative infinity. Okay, now this is describing what happens in the graph. And if either of these conditions right here occurs, we write that x equals 4, the line x equals 4 is a vertical asymptote. If either one occurs, if as you approach 4 from the left or from the right, if y goes to infinity or negative infinity, then we say that the line x equals 4 is a vertical asymptote. So if I type in the line, let me see if I can do this here, x equals 4, I think it might have been back there, x equals 4, I can see that's a purple line here, and that is the vertical asymptote. Now it's not on the graph, it's just for a visual, to help us visually, okay? It's actually, this is the graph, and that is the vertical asymptote. And then likewise, there's another vertical asymptote at x equals negative 4, so let's see. And there it is, it's in black. So it's got two vertical asymptotes, and that occurs because either of these conditions occurs, right? You get another vertical asymptote at negative 4 because as you approach negative 4 from either the left or from the right, y goes to infinity or negative infinity. So we write x equals -4 is also a vertical asymptote. So this graph, this function has two vertical asymptotes. So the vertical asymptotes occur at x equals 4 and x equals -4. Now usually what's going to happen in calculus is that you're going to be given this function. Let me get rid of these graphs. You're going to be given this function, and then you're going to have to deduce what the vertical asymptotes are, and you use that as a way of constructing the graph, and that's why you're going to need to know this behavior, because it tells you how to draw the graph as you approach the vertical asymptotes.